I'm curled up in a ball, laying under a desk, shaking uncontrollably. I'm 34 years old and I'm on day 3 with virtually zero sleep. My body can no longer regulate my temperature. I'm at the office of a Fortune 50 company and we have just 4 days until we film this commercial, and we haven't even casted it yet. The timeline is beyond tight. A project that should have taken 6 months, I have just 28 days to complete. And as the executive producer for the ad agency, all eyes are on me. Failure is not an option. I'm curled up in a ball for all of a minute when I hear my name being called from the conference room. The director looks me straight in the eyes and says, I'm about to walk off this project. But here's the thing, secretly, I live for this. The fact that I am needed, the fact that only I can solve things, the power, the pressure, the stakes, the control, I fucking love it. I forget about the desk, the shaking, the need for sleep, and I walk back in the conference room. Over the next hour, we rewrite the spot, sell it through to the client, and the spot not only gets made, but 1 week later, the CMO calls me personally to say thank you for pulling off the impossible. The CMO of a global multi-billion-dollar company. Power through, get shit done. This is what I was made for. I'm 8 years old. My sister and I are sitting at the top of the stairs listening to our parents fight. My father's words are loud and booming, sending my nervous system into fight or flight. At the end of each fight, my sister and I have a protocol. I go to my mother to comfort her, while she goes to my father to cool him down. I find my mother sitting in the dark, and I curl up next to her. She's so soft and magical. I have to protect her. I don't know why she doesn't leave him. I tell myself that she is powerless. I tell myself that because of we 3 girls, she's stuck. And since she doesn't have a career of her own, she is trapped. And I make a vow to myself then and there that I will never be like her. I will never be powerless. And so I armored up and I pushed my softness down. And I became him, so I wouldn't be her. I'm sitting in my New York City apartment, the one I purchased with my high-powered job. And my boyfriend of 2 years has just moved in. It's late on Friday night when I hear the pop of a wine bottle being opened in the kitchen. My heart drops. He's already had 2 martinis and 1.5 bottles of red. I look at him and I beg, honey, please don't. He leans in, kisses me, and says, just 1 more glass, I promise. I go numb, I leave my body, I leave the room, and I go to bed. And the next morning, when I walk in, waiting on the kitchen counter is the empty wine bottle. I can't hide anymore. He's an alcoholic. It would take 9 months before I finally admitted one of the hardest things. My love couldn't save him. I was powerless. 4 months later, I find John Wineland on Instagram. He's a relationship and embodiment coach talking about masculine and feminine energies in all of us. He says the masculine is like a mountain, solid, strong, steady. And the feminine is like a blade of grass in the wind, flowing, soft, ever changing. He says that all of us have both of these energies within us, and we have a tendency to lean towards one or the other, regardless of our gender. And I'm reminded of what a therapist had told me 10 years earlier. You have too much yang energy. Yang is the masculine. It's like a yin-yang symbol. We gotta balance you out. I enroll in John's course. A teacher comes on over the Zoom and asks, "Who is your queen?" And I begin to embody her, to try her on. Her crown is gilded with emeralds, rubies, and sapphires. Her gown is a thick golden brocade. Her throne on a pedestal with her servants and subjects below her. She oozes power, strong, steady, stoic, but also heavy, isolating, and lonely. And then the teacher offers, what if your crown was made of flowers? And my whole body softens as a world of possibilities opens up. I imagine a crown of daisies running through a field, laughing, my fingers trailing along the wildflowers, talking amongst my people, connecting with them. Her power is one of co-creation, power with. And then as I feel back into the gilded crown, this power doesn't feel good to me anymore. The power I was taught to want, to crave power over, it doesn't feel good. And I begin to wonder, where else am I living a life that no longer feels good to me? I start small. I give up alcohol and I change my diet. I go bigger. I sell my apartment in New York City and I go nomadic for 9 months. And in 2024, when I'm laid off from my high-powered job, I am ready. I'm ready to step away from the industry and the identity that had defined me for so long. I didn't know what was next, but I knew that I wanted to understand somatic and embodiment work more deeply. John had gifted me this soul awakening version, but now I craved the psychology and the science. I dive deep. I take course after course through the Embody Lab, studying under some of the world's top psychologists and thought leaders. I not only study somatics, but I also learn about the nervous system, sexuality, power dynamics, communication, and trauma. I learn how to safely guide others into their bodies. I learn how to hold space for others. I learn how to connect and attune without losing myself. I learn the language of my body, and I become a somatic coach. And through working with my clients, I realize that I am here to help other women like me, women who have been pushing through, pushing down, and over functioning in their lives. To help these women find and define a power that feels good to them. Because here's something else that I've discovered. The feminist movement brought women into the workplace, but not as women trying to be like men. And in doing so, we left behind the very gifts that the world needs right now. The gift of the feminine is to feel, to connect, to attune, to see people. These are the gifts that make us human. I spent 37 years pushing down my feminine, scared that it would make me powerless. But I was so wrong. My feminine isn't my weakness. It's my greatest strength.